Live from the chicken wing capital of the world, Buffalo, New York. You're listening to the Childcare Bridge Podcast, your source for the best tips, tools, and tactics on how to market and grow your childcare center, ensuring total domination. Total domination. This is the Childcare Bridge, and this is your host, Michael Tasner.
Hey there, and welcome to this week's episode of the Childcare Bridge. So 2025 is fast approaching the gas. Now, the other thing that they do is they have this concept or notion that very few families are going to want to enroll over the next. And they start to think that because, well, it's the holidays. Why would anyone want to change centers or enroll when all that stuff is going on? And the simple fact of the matter is that people are constantly moving. People are constantly changing centers. It happens a lot more than you would expect. And if you live in a city that is very transient, so let's say Orlando or Austin, Dallas, New York City, Los Angeles, and I know I named a lot of big cities, but cities where people are often coming and going on a regular basis. A city that has a lot of large corporations. People are going to be changing jobs 12 months out of the year. Just because the holidays are right around the corner doesn't mean that they're going to say, well, I'm going to wait for another few months and relocate then. Now, some people might wait until after the holidays, but the fact of the matter is, over the next 30 to 45 days, you can still capitalize on the families that are actively looking. So what are some strategies? What are some tactics to actually do that, but also do it in a way with a little bit of grace, knowing again that they're getting bombarded with Black Friday promotion messages, Happy Thanksgiving messages, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, all of that noise. How do you grab some of those enrollments and start to separate yourself from the pack? So you have something that other people do not have. You have a service that is among the most important services that a family could need, childcare. So if you've got a e-commerce business and you're trying to sell widgets, it's a lot easier to ignore that than something that is so near and dear to the family's heart. And with people, again, changing jobs, careers, moving, not being happy with the center, what we're finding is that even during the holiday season, the amount of people that start searching for things like switch my childcare, switch daycare, don't like my childcare center, they start to increase. Now that might mean 5 minutes later, that same parent's gonna also type in best gifts for 5-year-old. Like they're gonna be all over the place. But if you're a center that is looking to separate yourself from the pack, you need to start to do a couple of things. So step one is make sure that you do not turn off all of your marketing investment. A lot of centers come to us and say, Michael, should we just shut things off for the month of November, December, and return things on after the new year? My answer is 100% no. You never want to shut off completely all of your marketing. It doesn't make sense because businesses like the ones that I'm working with, the centers that we're marketing, we're going to grab all of your market share when you're not even looking. When you decide to scale back and our clients, our centers are staying consistent and even scaling up a little bit, we grab that market share. Step two, I want you to find a little bit of extra money that you can actually pump in the month of December. Now, the reason that we want to pump a little bit of extra money is that we do need to find some ways to stand out with the noise. And there's a lot of other companies that are not just childcare centers that are advertising for that same real estate. So if you look at Facebook ads being a prime example, there are companies obviously advertising everything and anything to the same families that you are going after. And we're going to need to make sure that we're still visible. In order to do that during a busy traffic season of paid traffic, we might need to increase our budgets a little bit. But here's what I want you to think about. what type of ads, what type of promotion, what could you do that is very, very different from anything that you've done in the past? So I just did a podcast and I was talking about options for offering free tuition, 2 weeks free, even 2 months free. But how could you start to do some really interesting ads that also tie into the holiday season so they're going to get noticed? Fun example. What if, obviously with permission, you had a couple of the infants at your childcare center and the infants were smaller and they fit in stockings, and you did a fun campaign around being able to care for your most precious packages, your most precious presents, and you obviously play with the wording a little bit, but think about the kind of the visibility on an ad like that. And again, I'm not saying put some of your infants that are at your center in stockings without consulting with the families and things like that. You want to let them know what they're doing, or what you're doing rather. But can you come up with something that's really different? Can you have your staff all have fun holiday outfits on one day and do some fun pictures? Could you have your staff talk about their favorite holiday cocoa, for example, their favorite holiday movie? How could you leverage the excitement around the holidays to continue to make sure that your message is staying front and center? Now, we also like to call things out in the ads, and we might even have an ad that runs and says, we get it, it's the holiday season, but the holiday season doesn't necessarily have to completely stop you from moving from a center that you're not in love with. So we're actively running ads that are always talking about, do you not love your center? Come enroll here. But we're even going to call out the fact that it is the holidays, so that some families that are like, well, I should just wait till after the holidays, they actually will end up moving that needle a little bit faster. But the other most important thing that we are trying to do during the holidays is we're trying to just stay top of mind. Because the fact of the matter is, most families will end up waiting until the first or second week of January to decide to pull that trigger. But who do you think they're going to have top of mind? The center that was continuing to advertise and market, continuing to send emails, continuing to run paid traffic, continuing to do fun videos and pictures that kind of keep people in the holiday spirit, or the center that moves their efforts to just showing the things that are going on at their center? The chances are pretty high that the center that is continuing their marketing, they're going to get the first crack, they're going to get the first phone call. Now, you also want to be a little bit careful to make sure of the dates that you're sending things. You don't want to be sending emails on Christmas or Christmas Eve, for example. You don't want to be sending emails or text messages on New Year's Day. And I've seen a lot of these issues happen through marketing automation where you don't realize that you had some campaigns set up and then all of a sudden people are ticked off because you're sending them messages on holidays. That is a huge faux pas. It's a rookie mistake, and it is a mistake that will cost you enrollments. I can tell you that if I'm looking at engaging a company for whatever it is, if a salesperson's calling me at 10 o'clock at night, for example, they go instantly on block and I will not return their calls. I really don't care. Well, it's only 7 o'clock in California. Well, they should know that I'm on the East Coast and they shouldn't be calling me at 10 o'clock at night. It's just not acceptable. Same thing with sending text messages on holidays and things like that are not a holiday greeting. But enrollments can and will happen during the next 45 days. So to just do a little bit of a recap of how do you again capitalize on this? So step one is I would put together a very simple 30 to 45 day promotional calendar. What is the content that you're going to be putting out and when? Who's going to be involved? Is it some of the teachers, the directors, the families? What do you want to be putting out there? Now, the other great thing is that you have a lot of fun activities that typically happen in the next 30 days or so. So you can have lots of amazing pictures that you can use for your ads and lots of amazing stuff you can do on social media. And the simple, easiest way to continue to get more visibility is you get that posted to your Facebook page or your Instagram account, for example, and then you sponsor it, you boost it to people that are similar to your existing enrollment. So all of a sudden they're seeing these really cool things that you're doing for Thanksgiving. Step two is I want you to look at how you can have content that is different from everyone else. Is it a really crazy special offer that then ties into the holidays? Think about people at this time. What do they care about right now? They care about their family, they care about their loved ones, they want to provide a nice holiday, but it's also a time of giving. What if you ran a campaign that said for every new enrollment that we get in the month of December, we are going to adopt a family or adopt a child, and we're going to make sure that they have an amazing Christmas on your behalf? Do you think that you would get some enrollments that were debating about waiting for the first or second week of January that would decide to commit a couple weeks earlier? And if you think about that, what ends up happening with that particular time span? If they decide to wait until the first or second week of January and other centers start turning their ads back on, they're going to have a fair amount of more options. But if you are the prime choice, if you are the center that's continuing to stay top of mind, if you're the center that is running really great creative ads and a really special offer, and ideally something that starts to tug on their heartstrings, you will get enrollments in the month of January. It's as simple as that. So do not scale back on all of your marketing. Do not scale back. Make sure that you're staying consistent with your messaging. Make sure that you're staying consistent with all of your different tactics. You should be continuing to communicate to everyone that is raising their hand. You shouldn't just go on a hiatus and say, well, I know you filled out a lead form on the 22nd. We'll get back to you in the new year. The center that gets back to that person faster, gives details, gets them in for a tour, they are going to end up getting those enrollments. If you think about it, why would a family be filling out a lead form in the month of January versus the month of December? So January, okay, great. They're filling it out. They waited until after the holidays. But if they're filling it out in December during the holidays, they're having some kind of life transition, career transition. They're maybe upset with their current center. If they're filling that information out, you've got to strike when that iron is hot, but be able to pivot a little bit based on their individual situation. But we have our team responding to leads all throughout the entire month, and we never are saying we'll get back to you in the new year. If leads come in on Christmas Day, for example, we're not going to have anyone in the office, but we have auto emails, auto text messages that let the family know, great, we're going to be in the office on this date. We are going to give you a phone call. If you want to preemptively schedule a tour, you can click this link, schedule a tour, and we can look at moving forward in the process quickly with you. So take a step back, analyze everything at that 10,000 foot view, but continue to keep pushing the next 30 to 45 days. It's among my favorite time because you can be creative with your advertising, you can tie in the holidays, but a lot of your competitors scale back, and that is when you strike. Grab their market share, grab their enrollments before they even realize what hit them. Michael Tasner signing off. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I'll see you next week.